Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast 2020. We're in a new year, which means a new season, and our hopes and dreams for conseguir la octava are still live and in full color. So we are here to break down everything Club Leon in English. We are back for another season. We appreciate all the support that we got on our first pod that we started 6 months ago, and we have come this far, and it's all thanks to you guys. So we appreciate all the support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, follow the Lions Den Pod on Twitter, and follow us on our accounts. We'll keep you updated on everything Club Leon in English. So we are here Monday Night Football to cover just what's about to go down this weekend. LigaMx is back, and that means Club Leon is back in action. Football this weekend. I mean, it's great, guys. How are you guys doing today? Carlos and Louis tonight. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Getting ready to get started again with a new season.
Excited, yeah.
It's just funny when they have this delayed final, though. That I mean, Rayados has had basically a week and a half to enjoy their title, and now it's a new season.
It's like forgotten. It's like,
yeah.
You know, they won.
Yeah,
whatever.
we had a little bit longer to mull over our defeat, obviously, but it just seems because I was watching that final not a week and a half ago, basically, and now it's starting all over again. But that's just the beauty, and some would argue the one of the downsides of the Mexican League, you know.
Yeah,
that is true. So we are here and we're ready to break down everything, expectations this season, refuerzos, departures, everything leading up to this weekend's first game for Club Leon. So we will have Jose joining us in a couple of minutes. Javier is out, but hey, the gang is slowly going to come back together soon. So let's just go ahead and start the pod with our first topic. Lots of things that have happened, and obviously we got to kind of discuss within our group chat. So now we kind of really get to air things out and put it out there. One of our departures that happened during the winter was JJ Macias. Our JJ Macias that was supposed to stay with us, that, you know, besó el escudo, se comprometió. Like, we did not see him returning to Chivas. There was also that possibility, but we just thought, no, it's not in his best interest. Like, you know, they're going to use, Club Leon's going to be smart about it, team up with a possible European club, use as a kind of like a trampoline. Maybe he'll stay, like Louis had mentioned, another 6 months up to a year. You know, we had plans for him. We saw it, we envisioned it. And al final de cuentas, JJ ended up returning back to Chivas. Gentlemen, how do we feel about this?
I mean, that chance was there, you know? The chance that he was going to leave was there. Surprised, yes. Yes, obviously, because he said he didn't want to return to Chivas. Like you said, he besó el escudo. I mean, he even said it on national television to El Ruso Brailovsky that he wasn't going to return to Chivas. So it was surprising, sort of disappointing, because the team was able to raise 15 million, a team like Leon, who you think doesn't have deep pockets. And they made him an offer and he rejected it. And it's kind of disappointing, but it's okay. We'll be fine. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, Carlos, it's not that they don't have the 15 million. It's just they don't want to spend it. They're a penny pinching club when it comes to adding new players, and they have been for a long time. Yeah, I say, we were just talking off mic that this is the only significant loss. We can talk about significant gains later, but this is really the only significant loss in terms of a player for our squad. And as we, you know, Macias was a protagonista in terms of, we talked about him every week. We talked about him a lot. He was an enormous discussion topic the entire time that he was with the club. And just the simple fact that he's left is not surprising, nor is it that alarming, nor is it that disappointing. We kind of expected that once he started playing well and how young he is, and once he started getting call-ups with the selección, his international caliber, that he would not be with our club for very long. The only disappointing element of it is the circumstances and his return to Chivas. I said on times here that would be the only thing that would make his departure painful, was to see him playing in a Chivas jersey again. And honestly, I did not expect to see that happen. I just didn't think that would happen. I think if he went back on Chivas's books, it would only be so that they could sell him and get the gains and the returns from a sale, so that León wouldn't see any of that money. That was the only thing I could see that happening. I didn't expect to see him play for Chivas again, and that is a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, all that matters is our club's future, whether he's a part of Chivas or whether he was going somewhere else. Either way, he wasn't going to be a member of our club anymore, and life will have to go on without him, as it was always expected to.
Yeah.
Well said.
I hope he
Jose,
enjoys one last thing. I hope he enjoys watching the Conca Champions from the couch.
from the couch. Jose, freshly added to the stream. Talk to me about JJ Macias. What do you think his departure?
Well, it's definitely a big loss, since he was pretty much the go-to man in our attack last season, and then, well, the last 2 seasons. But I mean, I'm not surprised that he left. I'm surprised at where he left. But I don't know. I mean, it's at the end of the day, like, like they say, like, jugadores vienen, jugadores van. Like, the players come and go. So if he left, I mean, that just means that this is a golden opportunity for Leo Ramos to step up and show why we paid that big price tag.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, that the big sum for him. So if he's not showing up for games this season, then I think we might need to consider, letting him go.
Yeah.
Because we need him to show up in games, and that's what Macias was doing for us before. And if Leo Ramos is not doing that for us now, then I just think he left. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think the Leo Ramos point is very important. I think he was acquired maybe, I thought of this at the time, then he started to get minutes and was a little bit disappointing, and I started to rethink him a little bit. But I think when he was acquired as much as anything else as a contingency plan in case JJ Macias did leave. I think he was acquired possibly more for his second torneo than perhaps even for his first. Well, now it's the second torneo. This is that opportunity you were just talking about, and I'm excited to see it. Now he knows that. We'll see what Nico Sosa. We'll talk about him later, but we'll see what he can do. But now, pretty much, Leo Ramos, it's his starting spot to lose, where it wasn't before, and I'm interested to see what he can do with that. I'm also interested to see how Ismael Sosa plays more centrally up front. We didn't really get a chance to see that. He was just because of where Macias played. Sosa was almost always out on the wings, and now he will have a chance to play more centrally, possibly, and I'm excited to see that too. He's not a refuerzo. We already had him, but playing a completely different position and possibly and doing different things, it might seem like a new addition. I'm excited to see that too.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a couple of people commenting on a live chat. For example, Marco Medina said, it was funny because he kissed Leon's school in front of the Chivas away fans. Now he's back there and acts like he never said anything bad about them. It's those kind of situations that, I still question it, but hey. Gustavo Aranda also on the chat said Leon should try to bring in Henry Martin. I think he would thrive in Leon.
Well, it's not going to happen this season. The internal market has already closed, so we can't get any players already registered with other LigaMx franchises. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Henry Martin, but
still better than not disrespect, still better than Godinez.
Yes, still better than Godinez, but Godinez might also have an opportunity to show what he's worth. That's another intriguing storyline, potentially intriguing storyline. We have lots of unproven guys up front who are going to be fighting for minutes, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And Godinez is one of them.
Definitely. Yep. Well, this will end our JJ Macias segment because we will no longer have it on the pod.
Our last JJ Macias segment ever, probably.
Let's hope. Well, so because Louis was bringing up, like how we should have Nico Sosa segment. Like, well, let's hope he does well to deserve one.
Nico Sosa segment. Yeah, if he turns into an intriguing player. For sure. I think
he'll have his own segment on the pod.
I think
by the way,
yeah. Go ahead.
I think we should. I don't know what you guys want to call him, but I just figured just call him Nico because we have two Sosa, so it's gonna be kind of, if we so who scored? Oh, Sosa. Okay, which one?
Nico. We should. I think that's. I'll bet they will start calling him Nico in this club social media and stuff. You're absolutely right. Nico. Yeah, I think it's interesting. There was so much scrutiny. One more thing about Macias before we stop talking about him forever. There was just added scrutiny around him, and will continue to be just because he's so young and he's Mexicano. I think a Mexicano player will always have in the Mexican League will always have that extra layer of scrutiny on him, much more than people are talking like. Yeah, people are talking about our delantera is gutted now because we lost that one player. No, we still have a ton of players up there. We just don't have any joyas mexicanas up front, so they're not getting as much scrutiny. They're not being talked about. I would say that Ismael Sosa was arguably our MVP of this past season, and hardly anyone, no one ever talked about him because he's been around the block. He's played with several clubs and has been good in the league for a while, and he's Argentino. He just people aren't going to get playing in the Mexican League. People aren't going to get as excited about him as they did about JJ Macias. Even though I think Sosa had a better season, to be quite honest, and has a chance to have a better season, another great season this clausura. Yeah. So I think people are getting very dramatic about this departure. Where in reality, there's still a lot to be excited about in our delantera, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
I think JJ summed up a really great role. I think he knows and he appreciates the opportunity that he was given, that his own team didn't give him. And I stick with that. That's what I kind of hold against him. Like, hey, you got the opportunity with us. You bright and shined with us. Now you go back. Now that's the real deal because Chivas, it's a Chivas, Super Chivas Galácticos 2.0. Now the pressure is on them and the pressure is on his back as well. So, I wish him nothing but the best. Taking off my jersey, he's Mexican. I want to see him thrive. I want to see him get exported as soon as possible. But, I'm still kind of, hurt. But like Louis said, I think our offense is great. I think we've mentioned this in the past couple of pods that we have lots of goal scoring options in our lineup. We don't depend on JJ Macias. Obviously, his first torneo with us, he was goleador. Second, he acted more as a kind of a winger at times and a playmaker, and we had goal scoring opportunities from Meneses, from Sosa, from Tecillo, from Yairo. Anybody could score. So I think it kind of hurt us emotionally because of what it means to be an actual fiera and what he did. And es un chavo, nos cayó bien a todos. But at the end of the day, he had to make his decision for his future and whatever. That's great. We will move on without him, and I just have a feeling it's going to be a good torneo with us, and he's going to regret it. Watch.
Yeah, al final de cuentas, we were just saying, doesn't matter the circumstances of his departure. His departure, whether it was this season or next season, was expected. And as Jose said, the most important thing, jugadores vienen, jugadores se van. We moved on from Boselli. We will move on from JJ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. We had our best season after Boselli left.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. So
out of nowhere.
It could be another.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
The only thing I'm disappointed is my green Leon jersey from this season. The new one has the estampado, the JJ estampado on the back.
Oh.
Oh,
So
see,
that,
that's why I don't get
Play
players
mean,
in the back
yeah,
because in case like they go like it's
I
like
mean, could be worth. Could be
see
worth
like
a
there
bit.
was one
I
I suppose.
I think
Yeah.
the
well,
Then again,
the
only
other one that Carlos hates with the yellow trim, that one has that one has Mena's name on the back. So that one's still accurate.
that one's still accurate.
yeah,
Anything you guys want to say before
that
we wrap
yellow
up
man.
talking about JJ?
No, I think
Que le vaya
we can
bien.
officially, que le vaya bien. I think we can
Que le vaya
officially
bien.
move on from the
Yeah.
Macias era. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, JJ, te deseamos lo mejor and gracias por what you did. But veremos a ver cómo te va. So wrapping up his departure, we also had a couple of other departures. As Louis said, I think JJ was just their biggest one. Another ones were from the youngsters. Diaz Price left to Everton, and Carlos Guerrero loaned out to Celaya. And they spoke about Carlos Guerrero was basically loaned out to get minutes and get experience. So I think we had talked about it because I mentioned about a rumor about he wasn't in Ambrice's plan, and what was possibly going to happen is he see him loaned out somewhere. And I was thinking Pachuca, and then they loaned him out to Celaya. So I guess depending how this youngster does, we'll see if he comes back or not.
I mean, far as I know, from what I heard, they put a 4, and I don't know if it's pesos or if it's like dollars, but they put a 4 million buyout clause. So I don't think Celaya is gonna trigger the clause.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I think Carlos Guerrero still had a chance on the team as far as his game, but I think his relationship with Ambriz just went sour. Halfway through the season, maybe before that. But I don't think he got shipped out because he didn't have a position on the team. I think he got shipped out because, of the issues that he's having. I think most of it was because of the issues he's having with Ambriz, where Ambriz just completely wrote him off. Even when we needed a defensive midfielder, he didn't even call him up. So I think that's one of the reasons why he was shipped out.
Yeah, I think I don't put a lot of weight into any of these departures. Honestly, the only disappointing thing, it reflects a little poorly on our cantera to see these guys going to places like Celaya and Everton Viña del Mar, which I consider to be football purgatory, basically. These guys, it would have been nice if they are going to move on. These are our guys, so they're going to move on. It'd be nice to see them at least to other Primera División clubs. Ideally, even better than that, sell him off to Europe. I think at one point, Carlos Guerrero looked like he was going to be a very, very, very good player. And he may still be. But these guys have noted attitude problems. I don't know if it's a trend in our cantera, these contenciones who come up through the ranks and through our cantera, and they end up having attitude problems and falling out of favor with the managers, whichever managers they might be. This isn't new. It's not new to Ambriz. It happened with Torrente. It happened with Chavo Diaz. It happened with Luis Fernando Tena. This is just
going on.
The thing is, I don't know what's going on with it. But in any event, these guys didn't figure into Ambriz's plans this season, and they're gone. I would have liked to see them go to better clubs, but they're going to come back later. The experience they're going to get with these clubs is probably not going to prepare them for a bigger role when they do return to León, if they ever return to León, which is not for sure in any way, shape, or form. I think part of it is we're just stacked at the contención position, especially if Aquino can stay healthy, and our only two juveniles who can cumplir con la regla de menores are both contenciones, essentially. So it's just there's a logjam at that position, and there was just going to be no room for these for these players, and so if they're not going to be in Ambriz's plans, they're not going to be indiscutiblemente in his plans, and then they needed to leave. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Diaz Price, I think to me was a surprise, but then I'm not surprised. I guess it's because, we see these youngsters come in, we see them a couple games and we're like, there's hope. And then it's just after Price, I feel like he would have those just on and off games, like not consistent. I wouldn't really see as much as the potential he had the first couple of games, in his career. And now it's just kind of like, well, I hope he does well, because he's still young. He still could be something, potentially great that can come back to Leon and be a starter, but I think it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, Carlos Guerrero was the real joven promesa.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little disappointed not to see him in the plans, but that's just the way it goes for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Price was too inconsistent last season. I think when he received his biggest opportunity, it was against Puebla, where we played a horrific match, and he couldn't shine, he couldn't come through. But I think that was pretty much all season for him last season, even when he came in and played garbage minutes. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that he left on loan. I think, like Louis said, the real Joya here was Carlos Guerrero. I think, aside from him, the other Joyas would probably be like Saul Zamora and the other guys that were called up. I forget their names.
Fidel Ambriz.
Yeah, Fidel Ambriz.
Mm-hmm.
One of those guys is gonna see minutes, maybe not as a starter, but the regla de menores is not going away. One of those guys is going to have to play minutes, even if it's just coming in for 20, 30 minutes max every other match. They're going to have to find a way to fill those minutes up, and those are the only two viable options really on the roster.
Yeah. Well, there's also Iter Jimenez. There's Iter Jimenez, Fidel Ambriz, and Saul Zamora.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, they're going to be taking a chance on one of those guys, because none of them are proven really in any way. The only thing I'll say is it's a shame to see guys like Diaz Price and it's a shame to see guys like Diaz Price and Guerrero leave and Ivan Ochoa stay. That's a little. I would have preferred
that's true.
either of those two guys and Ochoa to move on, but that's not how it played out. So hopefully there's enough depth that
it's
Ochoa
too soon,
Yeah, but hopefully there's enough depth that Ochoa won't have to see the field too much anyway. Hopefully for once, Pedro Aquino can stay healthy.
Or hopefully one of those guys comes through, and instead of Zamora or Fidel Ambriz get those minutes that Ochoa would get.
Yeah,
Sorry,
at some point, at some point, Jefecito will be back from injury too. At least that's the plan.
Yeah.
So then we'll have a real logjam. Ambrizz will have a real decision to make.
So before we talk about our refuerzos, let's just talk about Pedro Aquino. So Pedro Aquino, we've talked about throughout the podcast. Last todo el torneo, both torneos, Pedro Aquino played a total of 8 games. Se la pasó lesionado. We all know kind of, expulsado. It's just never could stay healthy. And that was a frustration for us. He, hot-headed on the field. When he played with Peru, he played fabulous. We also mentioned how, Ambrizz had the opportunity to use him when he was healthy, end of, during Liguilla, did not. We heard the rumors of him going to Cruz Azul, and he came out saying, he wants a revancha because he feels like está en deuda con León. And I feel like he is. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Yes. Very.
So what do we think about Pedro Aquino? Should he be a starter? Should, obviously before we talk about Refuerzos, like, what are we thinking about Pedro Aquino this season? Are we thinking, he now he's in shape, he definitely has to start? or is he not in the plans of being a starting role on the field yet? Or could we see it maybe throughout the season?
No, he's definitely a starter. I think he's a
I
starter.
think,
I mean,
yeah,
Right.
we've
I
seen
think
him.
Ambriz views
Right
him as a
now,
starter as long as he's healthy.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've seen his quality on La Selección Peruana. Like he's a monster when he's healthy. So if you have that on the bench, you know,
It's
I
a
don't.
waste.
Yeah, that's a waste.
Well, also I think in these last couple matches of pretemporada, we've basically seen. We'll talk about our lineup for Jornada Uno later, but I think judging by what we've seen in the pretemporada, especially in this last match, where I think he basically went with his 11 that he's planning to use as his 11 on match day one. Aquino was in there. He has too much quality
Mhm.
to leave him out if he's healthy. Even with his record of indisciplina on the pitch, he's just. And if we get a whole season of a healthy Aquino, that's like another refuerzo basically, because
Yeah.
we haven't been able to. The entire time he's been with the club, he hasn't been able to play an entire season. So if he can play an entire season, that's basically like having another refuerzo and a really high quality.
Yeah.
And I just hope his words that are not just words, actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that that he desmintió los rumores when he was asked about moving to Cruz Azul, and he said, "No, I'm here and I'm committed to this team, and I owe the fans better than what I've given them." Well, those are nice words. I hope he puts money where his mouth
He
is.
applies them on the field.
Yeah.
Definitely. Marco Medina also commented on the live chat. He said Leon should just release a jersey that looks like Peru's, and then Aquino will probably light it up. I think, he said it well. And like Louis said, words are just words. And I hope that he really applies them on the field because he does have the quality. We love to see him. Again, like Louis said, he needs to stay healthy. He needs to not be heated up and, cost us a game, cost us to leave us with 10 men. So, it's crazy. I saw that. I was like, he played a total of 8 games. Like,
well, and then while supposed started for his selección, that was kind of an odd circumstance. That was when I was starting to think. We discussed this during our pods last season about how whether having so many seleccionados was a blessing or a curse. When that kind of stuff was going on, that's when I was starting to think, I'm not so sure. Is it really that great to have so many seleccionados? Because then they're they know they're going to get their call ups, and they only care about their call ups. They don't care about. I think your continued seleccionability should depend on your performances with your club.
Yeah.
That's partly on the selecciones themselves for continuing to call these guys up, even if they're mailing it in with the club. But I don't want to see another situation like that where he's not even playing. A guy like Aquino or Tecillo are either not playing or not playing well or not playing motivated or entregados for our club, and then go and light it up with selección. I don't want to see that. I have no interest in. I don't care how they play with Colombia, with Peru. I do not care. I I don't care.
Yeah.
I want that to be a reflection of how they're playing with their club, with us, with our club, and nothing more.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jose? What's your take on Pedro Aquino?
I think as right now he should be the starter, but
Yes.
once Ivan Rodriguez is back, then that's a whole different story. I don't know. Ivan will have to fight for his, depending on how well Aquino is doing at the time when he's back. But if he's being like very like how he's been, like how not consistent, then I wouldn't assure him like his place when Ivan Rodriguez is back. But right now he should be the starter. There's no one better than him right now. I just hope, like Louis was saying, I just hope that we get to see the Aquino and Selección finally.
Yeah.
In a Leon jersey, like, because we've been waiting for him
for a year.
God knows how long. So, I mean, if I don't know what you guys think, but like, if he doesn't show up this season, should we just seriously consider the possibility of letting him go?
Yeah, I think a lot of people on Twitter are ready for that now. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are done with him. They don't buy that he's bought into to being a good player for us, and they think we've given him too many chances already. I don't agree with that. He's a player that has way too much quality to let him go. But yes, I think Jose. Yes, I think this is his last chance for sure.
Yeah.
This is his last chance.
And it's not like we don't have any offers. There's plenty of offers for that guy.
And it's not like we don't have other options in La Contención. That's by far now our deepest position. When you take in the especially when you take in the juveniles into account, and when Jefecito comes back. But Jose, that'll definitely be an interesting storyline when Jefecito comes back. The competition for that right Contención spot. That there's just so much we will have to wait and see how it plays out between now and then to really be able to really speculate about that. But that'll be a very, very interesting storyline.
Yeah, sure. You know, one guy we haven't talked about today who I think is going to have a breakout season. Hopefully, if he gets the chance, John Cardona. We saw spurts of his play last season when he got chances, and he looked pretty good out there. But he's one that could really have an impact either on the wing or maybe Chapito Montes' spot.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you, but it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it going to be hard? Well, I mean, we haven't gotten to that, but if the lineup that I think it's going to happen on, is it Saturday, right?
Saturday.
Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah.
If it's right, then that means that there's only going to be one spot for Extranjero. So unless when Ivan Rodriguez comes back, then maybe put him there, and then we get 2 spots on the bench for a foreign player.
Yeah,
but
that's a very good point.
That's only 2 spots. So whoever, it's gonna be hard. Like I mean, and you think Ambriz is gonna take out Meneses?
No.
You think he's gonna take out Chapo? You think he's gonna take? I mean, even. I
mean, it'll depend.
Even if he's in Sosa's place, like he's not gonna. I mean, unless there's a baja de juego, like
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to wait and see. If you're right, it may have to come down to that again for him to get a real shot. But if he does have a shot and he performs, that also will be like having an extra refuerzo because we barely saw what he can do.
True.
Last season, he came in and we barely saw what he can do. So that could be an interesting storyline too.
His chances are going to be very limited, though.
I think we have a lot of competition, which is good. So, and also we're competing in another tournament. So, we just need as many players healthy as possible. We need everybody to be on their, 100% game. So it'll be interesting, and we'll get to the lineup soon, and we'll get to the other parts of the pod that we're going to talk about. Refuerzos. We already talked about kind of a little bit. Let's start off with the last refuerzo that came in last minute. We were texting the day before. We were like, hey, we need another refuerzo. It's closing out tomorrow night. Like, what's going to happen? Are they going to come in clutch last minute? Like, are we going to get someone obviously from, outside instead of in Mexico? And we got 23-year-old Nicolas Sosa, which he does not look 23, but we're just going to, I was like 23, but his number's 23. Okay. So 23 Uruguayan, came from Racing, kind of a central forward. He says he likes to play also kind of on the wings, kind of like a playmaker. So he's not just a direct 9, number 9 punta. Is this the potential new JJ replacement, or do we still have faith in Leo Ramos? I mean, what are we going to do?
He adds competition to the mix, which is very important. We really have no idea. I'd never heard of him before. I think that profile you just described, the versatility. He's not just a punta. He can play out on the wings. He can be a little creative. That kind of fits the description of the players that Ambris has like to bring in. I mean, pretty much everybody who plays up front for us regularly fits that description. Meneses, Mena, Sosa, the other Sosa. They're all like that. They're switching sides. They're moving all over the field. They're not really strikers or wingers or enganches. They're kind of a hybrid of all of those things. And sounds like Nico Sosa is that too. And from the little that we've seen of him, he kind of seems to play that way and like to play that way. He'll do a little bit of everything. Two things about him intrigue me. One is that I know Jose is not big on this because it was only to Godoy Cruz, which is like the Puebla of the Argentinian league. But the fact that we were able to snag him last minute from an offer to play in the Argentine Primera División, I think that is significant. I think the guys we usually get are not on the radar of the Argentinian Primera División. Normally, the guys we've gotten in the past few years out of the South American market do not fit that description. They've been desechos, basically. A few of them, like Meneses, well, he's basically the only one I can think of off the top of my head really right now.
Jairo.
In terms of in terms of an attacking player, although Jairo plays a little farther back now, but those two, they were surprises. In terms of attacking players, the guys coming out of the South American market aren't on the radar of teams like an Argentinian Primera Club, and so that I think to me is significant. I think that and the fact that the Uruguayan press is all over this guy about how good he is, and El León se llevó una joya. The headlines that are coming out about this move down there, not a big country, not an amazing league outside of a few clubs. But they're really, really excited about this move for this guy, and I think that's significant in a small but football crazed country that Uruguay is. I think those are two things that work in his favor, at least in terms of getting excited about a guy we didn't know. That and how young he is. He's only 23. Usually the guys we get coming out of there are a little older. They've had a little bit more opportunity. So yeah, I'm totally willing to give this guy the full benefit of the doubt, more than Gil Buron, more than Steven Barreiro. Guys like that, we know what they bring in, and it's nothing to really get excited about. As long as they don't make serious mistakes, we'll be fine. This guy, Nico Sosa, is a little bit different. I'm totally willing to get excited about him and hope that he brings something a little extra to the table than those other guys.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really get to look up that much information as you did, Louis, on Nico Sosa, but I did check out some of his YouTube clips with some highlights from his time at the where did he play? Uruguay?
I think
Racing.
I forget the name of the town.
Yeah. So I mean, he looks decent. He looks good. But like you said, we're not gonna know until he actually plays in LigaMx. A lot of players usually don't integrate smoothly into the LigaMx right away. This is why we saw John Cardona for a whole season in playing with the Sub-20, because Ambriz didn't feel like he was ready. But he is young, although he looks twice his age. It'll be interesting to see how he fits in. It'll definitely add some competition, especially with Sosa, both Sosas, and Ramos at the front.
Yeah, it could be that we don't see all that much of him this season. It depends on, he may be more in future plans than for right away, because as we're talking about, there are a lot of options up front there. But if Leo Ramos is not performing, if Leo Ramos, with all the confidence in the world that he's going to get minutes, he's going to be the guy, the starter up front now, even with all that, he still doesn't perform, then he's going to have guys like Nico Sosa on his heels looking for minutes, and I think he will get that opportunity if Leo Ramos or Ismael Sosa or any of these guys. I mean, we still have Joel Campbell, who doesn't look like he's going to be a starter. That's another option off the bench too that we haven't even mentioned in this pod yet, in terms of our attacking options. So it's gonna be hard. People only ever want to talk about the refuerzos, but we didn't have that many bajas. We didn't lose that many guys. We only lost JJ, and we still have a ton of guys up there. We still have a pretty full roster. Whether or not you think those guys are real options, that's up for more debate than the sheer number of bodies. Because sheer number of bodies, we have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Jose, any input on Nico Sosa?
Yeah. So, like Louis was saying, yeah, I was kind of skeptical when they mentioned that. Well, yeah, we swooped in and stole him from Godoy Cruz, because obviously Godoy Cruz, I mean, not to disrespect, but what have they won? They haven't won a single title in history. So, and plus last season they were the last. They fit well, not last. I think it's still this season because they're still 15 games into the season, and they're currently the last place out of 2014. So that's why I was like, okay. And actually, there was another player, if you guys remember, that we have that we also went in, and I think we got him well, supposedly we got him over to join us, which is Jairo Moreno. Back then, Boca was looking to sign him too, and then we ended up signing him, and then Boca signed him. I think it was like the second. There was someone else, I forget his name. Anyway, so that's that too. But so Nico is not the only player that we actually stole from an Argentinian team that's looking to sign. But I mean, from what I've seen from him at least, he looks like he'll be a good graph for us. He'll do well for us. But one thing is YouTube videos, and then a whole different thing is when he's actually playing. So that's we had cases before that where they look so good on video. They look like cracks, like they're like this the nets, you know. And then they come in here, and then what happens? Like, for example, what's his name again? Jamison Rivera. I don't know if you remember him. Like that's one. Or what was this other guy from Ecuador, from Emelec? I forget.
Caicedo?
Yeah, Marcos Caicedo.
Marcos Caicedo.
He signed my phone though, so I kind of give him like brownie points. There was a phone here, and I stretched my hand. I was like, Caicedo, and he signed my phone, and I have my case. He signed it. I have a picture of it too. I'll send it to you. Okay, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, the point is, like, we don't know how good this, like, how much they're gonna contribute until they're actually gonna be on a green jersey and on the field. Also, like how Lee was saying, like, chances are gonna be very, like, if we said like Cardona that he's already in the squad, the chances are gonna be limited. Now imagine Nico Castillo. Like right now, on his speed started, right now it's Leo Ramos. So if Nico Castillo wants to get
Nico Sosa.
Yeah. Sorry, yes.
Sorry. Oh my God. You better change it before I kick you out.
Too many Nikos.
If here, let me just call him Nikos. I don't even call him Sosa, okay? If Nico wants him to start in the team, then he's gonna either have to show it on training or wait for Leo Ramos to turbo or get injured. Other than that, I mean, if there's Matt, I think places on the bench it's gonna be probably maybe 2 or 1. I don't know what you guys think, but that's, I mean, yeah, that's gonna be hard to
I think what
every
surprised
single.
me was that he signed for 4 years. So I know that it's a long term plan. He's young, and they want him to kind of be the face, of the
Yeah,
delantera. So I mean, I think
yeah.
honestly, with having this season and having champions, I think there's opportunity. And he said it, se acaba de acabar hace un mes the league, but
Mhm.
he's fresh. He's been training. Like he'll be. I think he reports Wednesday with Ambris. I mean, I think he's ready to go. Like I said before on a couple of podcasts, like players should be on their feet all the time. So I think there's no problem. I think maybe it's just kind of fitting into Ambris' system,
Mhm.
which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes of what's his plan for this season. But yeah, he signed for 4 years. I think there's opportunity. I think anybody can have a bad season. I hope Leo Ramos, like we have mentioned, this is his season to shine, and I hope he comes in clutch. If not, then we have more opportunity on bench. So that could be a game for Nicolas Sosa to show out, or Godinez. I'm still very uneasy about him. Yes, he's still young,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
just
he
not
he
100%.
doesn't seem like he. I think he doesn't seem like he gets like Ambris' system. Like I watched it on this last game in preseason, like the last because they were like doing a live streaming, and I watched him, and he couldn't get a hold of the ball. And when he got the ball, he either let the ball go too far, and then someone already came into marking. Like I don't think he still gets how to play it under Andrews. I'm not sure, but honestly, he's to me right now. He's even with Nico being the new guy on the block, he's the third choice right now.
Yeah.
Over Godinez?
Yes.
Okay. That's
So
interesting.
so Nico to me is second, and Godinez is third. Even though he's been with the team longer.
Well, he'll be under pressure to get acclimated to the system and to the country and to the league and everything
Yep.
quickly. If he wants to see minutes
Yeah.
anytime soon, he's going to be under pressure to incorporate quickly. But I agree with you, Jose. I think he's already higher on the depth chart than Chuy Godinez is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Other refuerzos Louis had mentioned Gil Buron, right back, and Steven Barreiro, which his name is really spelled, but that's just how it is. I was like, how do I say that?
Barreiro, yeah.
That's how you think.
But
That's how.
Stevie, like that's where I get confused.
No, it's Steven. They
Steven.
they basically did Spanglish. So
Yeah.
they wrote his
Yeah.
name like it's
How you
supposed to be
say it.
Steven, but
Yeah.
yes, exactly. That's how you see a lot of names in Colombia in
Yeah.
in
That
American
is
countries.
true. That is true. I've seen that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people don't actually, or maybe people don't even know how to write the name like
Yeah.
properly, and then just like, oh, okay, like so that's how it sounds.
This is how it sounds.
Steven.
This is how it's gonna
Yeah.
be left, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, Barreiro had mentioned after I can't believe I don't know if it was against the Liard on his Negros, but that he feels really comfortable playing with the CEO center back duo. And we will get to the particular lineup and how Ambris has been playing. But he's 25 years old. As we know, Mosquera will be out. So here he comes to Supen as a center back duo. I also have
180.
seen that Julio Salcedo had mentioned that Ambris was maybe a possibility of playing with 5 with Miguel Herrera, which I don't know if that's a
That's
good option.
You know what I think about that? I think what it is I don't think he's gonna start with 5. I think he's using it more as a like a tactical option, like in case he has to like play with 5 on the back, or what it could be too is he's doing obviously like an A team and a B team, because we're playing in two different competitions. So I mean, maybe that team that he played with fire in the back is actually the team that might play it in either or. Like I'm thinking that when the CONCACAF Champions League comes around, he's gonna play it obviously with the starters, and but obviously we're still gonna have to play on the local tournament on LigaMx. So maybe that's he's preparing the second team to fill in when we play the on CONCACAF. I think that's what I think. I don't know what you think, because if you notice in the friendlies when he plays 4-2-3-1, that team has been pretty much unchanged. Like this very very like one or two changes maybe, but I believe the back line it's always the same. Like except for maybe the last game, I think he took out Jairo and he put Osvaldo Rodriguez there. Or in that, everything was the same. So I mean, if he really is experimenting, wouldn't you think that he will play? He will put some of the other guys to play together, because I mean you can't just change a fight lane and you just work with a group and then don't work a 5-man line with the other. Like you work with the 4 back line. Like you don't do that. You want both groups to know how to play the same. So I think he's just like preparing for or to like either one or the other has to play it on either Liga MX or CONCACAF. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if there's enough depth there to really be thinking in terms of a full A and a full B team. There's going to be some overlap there, for sure. And I think at first, well, it also depends on how far we go in CONCACAF Champions. It could only end up being 2 matches. Hopefully not. But really, at the beginning, we have the CONCACAF Champion fixtures on the 18th and 27th of February. But up until then, nothing. So he's going to have a lot of time with full weeks of training and preparation between matches to figure that stuff out. I don't know. What I don't want to see this season, like we saw so much of last season, is all the experimenting. I think he just has to, whatever he wants to do, he has to settle on it. And hopefully the guys they brought in, whether they're big names or not, all can be seamlessly inserted into whatever system he wants to play, but the system doesn't have to change based on the players that are on the pitch. I'm hoping to see that, because we saw a little too much experimenting. Obviously, in the end, it didn't end up hurting them in terms of the regular season standings. But there were just so many moments like, what are you doing, man? Stick with what's working. Stick with what's worked for all these months. So I'm not necessarily against the idea of a 5 in the back kind of formation, but he needs to decide on that and stick with it if that's what he wants to do. Or at least decide that at a certain point in the game, if things are getting a little shaky defensively, that's what he's going to do. But he's always going to do that. There's just too much tinkering and too much experimentation. That was starting to really get on all of our nerves. I think last season in that game against Puebla and against Veracruz, and I don't remember exactly who all the matches, but there were just sometimes you're like, what are you doing, man? Why are you tinkering so much? There's no need for that.
Yeah, if there's a back line of 5 and he's experimenting with that, then that means that something is really wrong defensively, and we still haven't figured out our issues defensively after last season, you know?
Yeah. Well, sadly, I don't think that just in terms of a talent or ability standpoint, I don't think that Steven Barreiro and Gil Buron are instantly going to make our back line better just by their presence. I don't know. Steven Barreiro has always struck me since his Atlas days as a very average LigaMx center back. Nothing special. Obviously, his biggest highlights are his own goals. Hopefully, we don't see more of that. I don't really
Another
blame.
Mosquera.
That's not really a testament to a guy's ability to play the center back position. He's gotten unlucky on a few occasions, disproportionately more than perhaps other guys. But I just don't think he's a standout center back in any way. I think. Then again, I didn't think Ramiro Gonzalez was, but they were both. He was a cumplidor. I think Steven Barreiro has a chance to be a cumplidor. I don't think he's as good a player as Mosquera is. I don't think he ever will be, but hopefully he's just out there doing his job and we don't have to talk about him too much because he's not having any blunders that need further discussion. You know, that's my best hope for him. And Gil Buron, I don't really expect him to see the pitch much at all. Whether it be in Liga or in Conca Champions. I just don't. I think he's purely a depth piece. Maybe he'll show Ambry something in practices and training that'll earn him some minutes on the field. But it's Navarro's position to lose. Say what you will about Navarro. I think Navarro's been good. I don't think, defensively speaking, I don't think he's always been stellar at his position. I think he's too concerned with the attack. Obviously, outside backs in the modern game have to be concerned with the attack, but they also have to be able to get back at a moment's notice and defend their position. I think Navarro's been so at that. So I don't really know Gil Buron's game that well either. I just know that he's unheralded. He's had his chances in Liga MX already and hasn't done all that much with them. So I'm not expecting too much out of him, but who knows? I could be pleasantly surprised.
I think defensively, this season is going to be a challenge, just like it was last season. I think if we have the starting lineup, Jairo Navarro, I think on the counterattack, it's going to hurt us unless something has switched on all the players this season and they have to drop back. We can't be left exposed like that. With the additions of Barreiro and Buron, it's kind of that we expected maybe a more established, Liga MX defenders than what we are getting now. And I think, we can see the frustration in that. I'm going to just give them the benefit of the doubt this season and say, hey, they van a aportar algo, and I hope that they do their very best. I think defensively we are broken, and if they add something that maybe we were missing last season, then it's welcome, but they have to really show it on the field. So I'm just going to give them that benefit of the doubt just because, they know what Liga MX is like. It's not like the extranjeros that are coming in like, Nico Sosa, like John Cardona, like Meneses, who as soon as they came in, rough season, next season, brilliant. So I hope they prove us wrong, and I hope that they definitely add something that maybe we're missing defensively. They may not be the top, 10 defenders in Liga MX, but hopefully, they can add something. I'm just, trying to remain as positive. But I think it's going to be a challenge. So defensively makes me nervous. Defensively, I think we've said what worked for Ambriz, his first torneo was remaining consistent. Second torneo, he kept moving a lot of pieces. So this torneo, I don't know defensively what he's thinking. Do we keep Jairo still? I mean, I would rather much have Tecillo or Osvaldo. Jairo can still be another piece,
Well, that's the thing. What you just said, I think, is really important. The first season it was kind of set. The second season it was tinkering, but all the while it's the same. It's pretty much the same guys.
Yeah,
the same guys that had that airtight best defense in the league during our great Clausura run of a year ago, and last season, which was a lot more porous. It's basically the same guys, and it's basically the same guys now. All the guys who were responsible for that great defense, except for Mosquera, are still there. I think a big thing is both in terms of the refuerzos and the players we've already got. More than their name recognition is how badly do they want to shine for this club. How hungry are they? What drive is there? I mean, Gilburon comes in unheralded. Does he really, really want to make a difference for this club? Is he going to go out there and sweat and bleed for the escudo every time he goes out, even if it's just for a few minutes? If he is, then I'd rather have him than I don't know. I'm trying to think of a really high profile right back. I can't right now, but I'd rather have him than anyone if he's going to go out and do that.
Yeah.
And Steven Barreiro también. I mean, if he's gonna go out there and sweat and bleed and cry and do whatever he has to help this team win, then I want him out there. It doesn't matter that he's not Rafa Marquez, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that goes both for the players coming in and the players who are already there. I don't want to see them stagnant. I feel like they stagnated. They just got a little bored. Out there, a little. I don't want to see anybody get bored. I want to see them going for it every minute that they're out there.
Definitely. So records of Clausura 2019, León had 41 goals, mejor ofensiva, super líder, más ofensivo with 80%, 41 points out of the 51 points possible. We had a great 12 winning streak. Louis had mentioned it. What a great Clausura. 13 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. 41 goals in favor, 14 against, and we ended up with 41 points as subcampeón. Apertura 2019, which was a kind of rocky. People say we ended with 33 points. We made it to La Liguilla. I think, we were very high standard on what León did in the Clausura. We ended up with 9 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses, 38 goals in favor, 23 against, which is a really big difference from Clausura. As Louis had mentioned, we had the best, defensiva. Ended with 33 points, and we ended up getting kicked out in cuartos de final. What do we expect León to do this season?
To be
Are
honest,
we holding them to our standards of Clausura? Or are we, after what happened this past torneo? Or what's our target? I mean, obviously the end goal is La Octava. What do we need to do to get there? What's important?
Definitely not another Clausura 2019. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going to see that again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, had it not been compared to the one immediately before it, would have been considered a very solid, at least regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Getting bounced by Monarcas in the first round is unacceptable. Even though some of the circumstances were beyond our control, we don't have to get back into that. But that the Liguilla finish was unacceptable in my opinion. But the season on the whole, the regular season on the whole, was very positive, very good. And had we come from, for example, had in the Clausura 2019 we'd not even made Liguilla and then gone and had the season that we did last season, we would have been ecstatic and thrilled with that finish. Just it was a tough act to follow, too tough of an act to follow. I think we will make Liguilla again. Personally, I think we have the personnel. I'd like to see us, rather than go for a top 4 finish, because we saw how much that was worth this past season. Sometimes it's not worth anything. Just getting into the Liguilla is what matters. I would rather see us do well and fight really hard to have a good showing in Conca Champions than finish in the top 4. But I want to see a good showing in Conca Champions and getting into Liguilla, even if it's just de colada. I think we have the personnel to have another good season. Maybe a lot of people are more pessimistic than they were even after the great season that we had two seasons ago. I see a lot of people very thinking we're going to struggle, thinking that it's going to be another season of experimentation and tinkering, and that we're just not going to have a lot of great options. But really, I don't know I don't think we know what to expect. I'm going to err on the side of optimism and say that we will have another Liguilla quality team. It's all going to depend on their attitude, how they want it, because it's the same. It's the same talent that we've had for 2 seasons, or one could argue even that the last semester's team was more talented than the one that preceded it. I would say that. I mean, we got upgrades at several positions compared to the team that had the historic season.
Yeah.
we had Leo Ramos instead of Vinicio Angulo. We had Ismael Sosa instead of basically nobody at second as a quality second striker or winger. I mean, it was a better team talent-wise, and we've mostly kept it together. So I see no reason why they can't have another very successful season. Where they will finish exactly in the table, I don't that one we won't even know in the second to last jornada. But I think they have a very good chance to have another good Liguilla quality season and do well in Conca Champions. We'll just have to wait and see how good that ends up being.
Yeah, I think the bar is still set high. I think our expectations are still very high because we still have the quality players. I think having maintained the base, the core of the team, and only having lost one important player, our expectations should still be high. But like Louis said, we don't know until it's actually played out. I will say one thing. We haven't played an international tournament in a long time, so I want to know what it's going to be like to play two tournaments in the same, actually at the same time, especially going up against a rival like LAFC, who they're I think they're pretty good. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And then with LigaMx, like at what point, like, do you prioritize one over the other depending on how you're doing? Like let's say we're not doing too well in LigaMx, do we prioritize Conca Champions? How do you find a balance? And do we have enough depth to possibly win both, like Monterrey did? Obviously, we don't have as much depth as they do because we're not big spenders like they are. But it'll be interesting to see if our depth comes through during both of the tournaments.
Yeah, I do think they obviously won't say that out of the gate. They're going to be like, no, we are going all full out for both tournaments. We tenemos con qué, and we're going to go for it. But I think pragmatically, if we start to falter in Liga, but still have possibilities in the Conca Champions, they will prioritize that. I mean, it would be only natural. I'm thinking back to the Bicampeonato when we won our second title of the Bicampeonato, and all that while we had Libertadores and other tournaments, and they did prioritize those international tournaments and had to barely make it into the Liguilla just to have a shot at the second title, and they did. I could potentially see a similar situation this time around. I think we do have enough depth to put in a strong showing in both tournaments, but things can happen. You can lose 3 or 4 matches, and all of a sudden you're fighting just to stay in it, and anything can happen. And I think they will adjust their expectations either for one or the other, or both, depending on how things go as we progress along through this first half of the season.
So, where do you think Leon will end up on the table? I'm calling it right now. They're going to end on 3rd place.
I don't know about this season, to be honest, but I think
Yeah,
probably. No, I'm gonna say below 3rd. Anywhere
3rd?
between 4 and 8. The reason in how you guys were talking about, like, I think, in my opinion, yes, they're gonna be politically correct and say we can go for tournaments, but honestly, I think they should put all of it on the CONCACAF Champions League. And then if we have to, like, qualify to Liguilla in 8, so be it. But like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of precedent
we
for that.
won
Yeah.
LigaMx style. We never won.
No, and Monterrey just did too. There's a lot of precedent for teams in that position having success even after focusing on one.
But you just mentioned like Monterrey, like how like we're not Monterrey, like we don't have that depth, we don't have that economic power. Like we have to be realistic. Like we can do both, but there's no way we're gonna hold up, like be in the top on Liga and then go far on CONCACAF Champions League. I mean, because even our first game, like LAFC, they're not just anything. You know, like it's not gonna be easy winning against them.
It's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be hard for them to come into being in off-season form. Coming into our place and getting a result on February 18th, they're going to be rusty. They're not going to look like they will when at the midpoint of the MLS season. I can guarantee you that. That's not to say they're to be taken lightly by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm not. I'm glad that that we're playing them before they even start the MLS season. It's been historically a brutal struggle for MLS teams coming in playing LigaMx clubs, except for Sporting Kansas City against Toluca last season. They were the one exception. But in general, it's been very hard for teams in that situation to come in and have any sort of success. So I hope we take care of business in that home game. I like that we're playing the home game first so that we can really try and stick it to them.
You're going to come in a very hostile environment.
I agree with you, Jose, about prioritizing the CONCACAF champions for basically one reason. And that reason is we're not allowed to be in that competition every year.
Yes, exactly.
You know, teams like America, Tigres, Monterrey, they may not win the title, but they're going to at least make one final per year. You know, so they're going to be in that competition pretty much every year. All teams like that. We do not have that luxury. We're going to be up there in the Liguillas fighting for it, but we're not going to have the luxury. So I think we really need to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
To have a good international tournament. Pachuca's done it. It's our turn to do it. You know.
God knows when we'll come back. Like, I mean, hopefully in the next edition. But like, I mean, last time it took us how many years? 5 years to come back to the CONCACAF Champions League.
Our last international tournament was 2014. Absolutely, 6 years.
Yeah. So there you go. It's not every year you're in an international tournament. So come on.
So we have a couple comments on the chat. Ramon Scott said, "Great stream. Thank you for joining the Lion's Den." We left us a couple comments. Let me put it on. If you don't focus on the league, people will get mad. You have to find a way to do both. That is true. Aside from Copa MX, Leon hasn't taken tournaments lightly. The president comes from a family where they want to win outside Mexico.
Well, yes, that's what I'm talking about with Pachuca. They've had a lot. They don't have as many titles as we do, domestic titles, but they've done very, very well in international tournaments. And Leon, by comparison, at least recent history, since it's become a real prestigious thing, simply have not. So I think I agree. They're going to have to take it serious.
And
that's
then
final, man.
619 said, "When the New Jersey for the CONCACAF
They haven't announced it yet.
They haven't announced it, but 619, when I know, you'll know."
So moving along quickly because we're running out of time. First game against Queretaro. We've been talking about it throughout the pod, but now's the time to say it. Ambris has had a couple of preseason games with a lineup, as we said. Probably the last lineup that he played would probably be the lineup that he uses against Querétaro. Guys, if I'm not mistaken, the lineup is Cota en goal, Navarro, Barreiro, Tecillo as center back duos, Jairo Moreno, Montes and Aquino, Mena, Meneses, Sosa, and Ramos.
There's one right there that's wrong. So Jairo was actually playing in the last game versus Celaya,
Celaya?
he was actually playing with the second team, which a bunch of subs.
Mhm.
He was actually playing as a midfielder, which was
Okay, so I
surprising.
guess this one oh never mind. This one's the Leones Negros lineup, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, so which one was the one against Celaya? I don't know if I wrote it down.
So the back line was Navarro, Barreiro, Tecillo, and Osvaldo.
Was it Osby?
Yeah.
The rest is the same?
The rest is the same.
So are we feeling confident with this lineup? Any modifications that should be done? Or are we kind of just going to wait and see how this first game against Queretaro goes and then just judge and see what substitutions could be made, if any, for next game?
I don't know about confident. I think the first game of the season is always the like nerve-wracking because you don't know how you're gonna start. So hopefully we have good memories of Querétaro.
True.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
yeah.
Querétaro is working in a bunch of new players. They
Yeah.
just they announced a few days ago that Vucetic would be continuing on, so they'll have some continuity there tactically in some of their guys. But they lost Akeloba to Cruz Azul. I think he was one of the big reasons they were so good last season. They're working in a bunch of new guys who aren't really big name type prospects, but they could be with Vucetic at the helm. They can still be dangerous. I don't know how they're going to play coming into León and working in so many players in the Jornada Uno. I'm pretty confident with the lineup we just rattled off.
I think we still
and our
have
continuity. We definitely still have the advantage. I think León should come away with the 3 points in Jornada Uno. All things considered, if they don't, it could be a bad sign for things to come.
Yeah, I think the only doubt that I had in the lineup, which somebody just commented, I was about to say it.
You can read it.
MacPack said, I hope it's Ramiro Gonzalez over Barreiro. Historically, like you guys said, he's done his job as cumplidor. So I don't think Ambriz is going
he's going to
start Barreiro. I think he's going to start one of his two other guys, either Herrera or Ramiro.
I go Ramiro.
You go Ramiro?
I go with Ramiro too. We've had this argument before. I think Ramiro is better than Herrera.
Yeah, so
I will hope so, but I don't think it's going to happen. The reason why is because Barreiro has been working with most of the starters the whole preseason. Ramiro has been working with a bunch of guys that aren't usually not the starters. So, just logically from what I see, I don't see Ramiro starting. Otherwise, I think Ambriz would have put Ramiro on his starting lineup on the first game versus Celaya with the guys that were basically most of the starters. So I wouldn't see any reason why he would put in with a team that's surrounded by a bunch of guys are usually on the bench. So.
That's a good point.
But that's my point of view.
Yeah, I think Barreiro will start too. I think they brought him in to be the new Mosquera. I think Ramiro will be a bench piece. I never understood why he fell out of favor. I think we played our best football when he was in there, since he's been with the club. But I think he's thought of as a depth piece now, and I think Barreiro will start. But we'll see whether. I don't think that's going to be the difference in the game in any event. I think no matter which of them starts, we should have the advantage against Queretaro on Saturday. I'm stoked for the season to start, and I'm heading back to Mexico tomorrow. Stoked for it. For the
ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready for the happiness.
I get antsy, which is why I'm glad. I love that the off seasons are so short because I get antsy.
Like a weekend with no Leon, it's like what do I do with my life? This is all there is.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting. I think, I don't know if we'll see if we can take a lot from Saturday's game. We'll see what modifications will be needed. We'll see if Barreiro does start, how he does. If we're like, you know what, maybe give him a couple games but last but not least, predictions. We'll start off with Carlos. What is your prediction for Saturday?
We're gonna get a win. I think we'll have the advantage. I'll go 2-1 Leon.
2-1 Leon. Louis.
I was gonna say 2-1 as well. I think we jump out to a 2-0 lead. Queretaro pulls one back late to make it look closer than it really was. I think it'll be as comfortable a 2-1 win as you'll ever see. And what I'm eager to see is how they come out. If they come out looking hungry, if they come out looking mad about how things ended abruptly for them last season, if they come out hungry, fiery, that's what I'll be most anxious to see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, relatively comfortable 2-1.
2-1 Louis. Jose, prediction for Saturday.
2-1.
2-1.
It's gonna be
I'm
close.
also going with a 2-1. I think the season I'm gonna be more of a sophisticated scoreboard. I was scoring too high last season, but we'll see how they do this season. We all said 2-1 Leon sophisticated win on Saturday against Queretaro. We'll definitely see what kind of team Queretaro has. Louis has said Vucetic and his continuity with the team. Queretaro was kind of a surprise last season, but then kind of ended up being kind of it is what it is with teams like that. So maybe they'll have a great season. Maybe they'll do some damage during Liga. We'll see if they make it. We hope that Leon has a great season. Kind of this game kind of setting the tone for the rest of the season. New faces. Hopefully everybody, that is new would adjust to Ambris' style. I still have faith in Ambris. I think, it's just he needs to keep consistent and make smart choices. And I know that he has definitely regretted some of the choices, especially during Liga and towards the end of the season last season. So I hope this season he sticks to his gut and his ideology, because I think we all definitely still believe in it. And we want to see a León triunfar and get a title with Nacho Ambriz. So anything else you guys want to say before we take off in this long preview podcast?
One thing, 619 asked about my hat.
Yeah.
Where do you get the hat in the USA? Sorry, 619. As far as I know, you still cannot get the León New Era caps anywhere in the USA. They're only available either in La Guarida, in the New Era shops, in the two New Era shops in León and online, but only New Era Mexico, which does not ship to the US. So maybe that will change in the future, but for now, you are out of luck.
It's a nice screen too.
Yeah.
Like whatever really needs to go international.
Yeah, I had to WhatsApp them. Who was it? I think it was the last 2 seasons, and I was like, "Do you guys ship to the US?" Like, no. I'm like, I think they said we shipped to. I was like, well, what about San Felipe, which is with my grandma, the hometown, and they're like, yeah, but then it's gonna take 3 weeks to ship out. Like, I'd rather just take a bus 2 hours to get there, and I'll just go buy it. So but I really hope they expand, because especially with the new stadium coming in, I think they need to do a lot of changes, especially with jerseys and hats and everything. Those articles de León, they need to find a way to ship to everybody in the US. So
I mean, they want to go international. Why don't they sell
merchandise,
fun products international?
Yeah, if we were a Nike or Adidas team, I think it would be very different.
Yeah,
it would be a lot easier to get our hands on all that kind of stuff.
But
the New Era caps,
at least offer in certain states,
Yeah.
Like Texas, California,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think that they probably don't think it would be that profitable. But
it's okay, guys. We can just start a GoFundMe. We can buy merchandise, and we'll just sell it on, our Twitter page somehow.
We should.
Not a bad idea. We'll just keep that in mind. We'll figure something out, if anything. Anything you guys want to add before we take off? No?
Good to be back, guys.
So
Or did it say freeze?
it's gonna be the top scorer.
It's going to be what?
So who do you guys think is gonna be the top scorer this season?
Our top scorer or in the
I
whole
put
league?
yeah. So our top scorer. So I put an
poll?
encuesta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on Twitter page. So if everyone is welcome to vote if you guys like. So I just put 4 names there, but if you guys think there's someone else, you can post a comment. So I put either Ramos, Mena, Sosa, or Nico Sosa. Or so who do you guys out of those 4, or do you guys think it's gonna be someone else?
I want to say Leo Ramos, because I think if it's him, that's going to be indicative of things going well for the club. But I think the dark horse Ismail Hat-Trick Sosa is gonna have the top number at the end, somewhere around 10 or 11.
That was my guy.
Yeah, last season he scored 8.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's my pick too.
Nice.
Ismail
I
Sosa.
hope. Yeah, I think honestly, now that you think about it, yeah, he's been coming off of a good rhythm right now. So Mena is not, obviously he's not a goal scorer, so I don't really expect him to. I expect him to be up there, but not the top. I think the season that he had was one-time wonder, to be honest.
It was an outlier. It was definitely an outlier. Yeah.
Well, we hope to see Ismael Sosa thrive just as we expect. So thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Lions Den podcast. First episode of this season, 2020. We're very excited. Hopefully we deliver the best of Club Leon in English, recapping games, previewing games. So obviously we'll have Coca Champions also to talk about. So lots of material, lots of content coming your way. Follow us on the Lions Den podcast on Twitter for all the updates. You can follow all of our accounts on the screen. We'll be tweeting throughout the games. Louis will obviously be following La Fiera wherever they go via, in the stadium, taking pictures. He will be living it live. Follow us on all of our accounts. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for every Monday Night Football episode. Thank you guys for joining us in another episode of the Lions Den podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.